Welcome back to our weekly live event. For those who don't know me, I'm Pascal Corcus. I have an accounting firm, insurance agency, mortgage company, real estate investment company, construction, and property management. I'm here to answer all of your real estate and investment questions. Good to see everybody back for our weekly live event. Hope everyone's been blessed. It's very good to see everybody again. It's very good to be able to drink water again and eat food. So if you guys don't know, for the last 2.5 days, I went with no food, no water for the fast of Jonah. And it was good. Definitely pushed my will and my comfort zone, but it's a nice thing. I do it once a year, and it's a nice way to kind of build up myself, my endurance, my self-control, you know. How you guys doing? What's up, Slip? Hope everyone's doing great. Thanks for all the love. Appreciate all the love, all the hearts. Good to see everybody on YouTube as well, and IG. All right, guys, we're just going to talk for a little bit, let everybody join the live event. Then we're going to go into talking about today's topic is what's next? What is next to come in the market? And after we go into the topic of what's in the market, I'm going to open up the floor to answer you guys' questions. Remember, for those who don't know how it works, people who ask to go live on YouTube, go first. Go live on IG, go first. Then any questions you put into the DM, I answer those next, the question section on IG. And then from there, I'll also go into the DM section. So the question mark and the balloon, I answer those second. So make sure you submit your questions there, because in the DM, they get scrolling pretty fast, so it's hard for me to keep up with all the questions. All right, well, I hope everyone's having a great day. It's good to see everybody. All right, so how's everybody's day been? Awesome. It's good to see everybody again. A little update on what I'm doing now. Obviously, you guys heard I'm working on a $7.5 million project, raising capital right now for that $7.5 million project. Great location in the heart of downtown. I'm working on building a new office building for myself. I'm under contract for an acre of land next door to me, and I'm building a 15,000 square foot office center. Thank you. I'm expanding my operations. We're going to be actually looking to build a California location. So we're actually going to have a physical presence in California in the next year. What else? We got like a 4,000 square foot house remodel. We got 4 of my apartments being remodeled right now. So we're busy with mortgages. We do refinances. So we're slim doing refinances, and it's tax season. So a bunch of clients trying to get their corporate taxes and individual taxes done. So we are booming in every direction, every aspect of the company. So I'm glad to be able to help so many of you. And it's an honor that you guys use us for taxes and bookkeeping and payroll for your purchases and your refinance of your property. But we're really happy to be able to help. No, I'm not a baller. I guess to some aspects, yes, some people I would be a baller. I do enjoy everything that I'm doing, so I don't really look at the numbers and that. I just look at being able to help as many people as possible. Like I just had one of my followers call me. He has 65 units. He's looking to buy another 65 in Virginia, and he also wants to partner with me on that in the $7.5 million deal that I have going on, because it's a great tax deductible property. Big tax savings on that property. So if you make a lot of money, it's a good property to invest in. So I'm glad to be able to help, right? It's all about finding if you guys really study real estate, it's really about finding as many people as possible that you can help. And the more people you can help, the more you're compensated for. Sometimes you're compensated with money, sometimes you're compensated with equity, and sometimes it's both. So just keep focused on helping as many people as possible, and you're going to be able to get something in return. How do you work with felony? I don't usually work with felons. Actually, I've never worked with a felon, so I don't really know what your question is. Falcon says, how can I use my raw land to leverage to do more with my own property? Well, you can leverage the raw land as collateral for a bank loan to build on your raw land. And I am Pat Dom says, congrats, thank you. Actually, I am Pat Dom has won 2 of the different giveaways I did. He's won actually 2 so far. So he's a pretty lucky guy. He's actually out of Miami. While Falcon wants to go live, let's see what he has to say. He's not able to go live. Carr says, trick is to find something you love to do and monetize that, and never feels like work after all. That is correct. If you find something you love to do, you're not working for a day in your life. And I mean, I'm doing this morning to night. I get up in the morning, I'm answering DMs, I'm answering text messages, emails, and then by the time I'm sleeping, I'm actually in bed looking at properties. That's how I found that $7.5 million project. It's a 7.5 cap, commercial property in a downtown core market. That's an amazing deal. I mean, if you guys are following commercial real estate, downtown core and a happening market in Florida is a really, really good deal. And so literally day one, it went up for sale. I contacted them and said, I want it. Next day I saw it. They sent me the app. I signed it. They signed it by the 3rd day, and it's done. So awesome. Slip is asking me to go live. Let's go live, Slip. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing on that boat?
Yeah, my internet is somehow holding up here.
It's awesome. Why don't you tell everybody what you do? Awesome. And he actually owns multi-units himself, and he's looking to expand his portfolio. So this is coming from a guy that knows a little bit about the business. So what questions do you have for us?
The first question I had was, I was looking at your video today of how to for cash versus multiple loans.
Yeah.
It was put up in December of last year. And something that kind of was churning in my mind, although in a time where it's kind of scary right now with how much risk taking on by doing it with 6 different duplexes rather than just buying one cash.
Yes.
Manage your risk without going bankrupt and crashing and burning with this.
Mm-hmm. So the example video that he's talking about is on YouTube, and it's comparing buying one duplex all cash for 200 grand or buying 5 duplexes with 20% down on each. So 40,000 per duplex and the average. So what you're going to notice, the big takeaways, and you need to watch the video. It's about a 10-minute video, but it is a lot of different concepts together. One, when you buy a property cash, the benefit is you don't have a loan. But the loan on a $200,000 property, you're looking at $160,000 loan, you're looking at maybe $700 a month. That's the monthly payment. So if you're getting $1,000 rent from each side and you're saving, say, $700 by not getting a mortgage, that isn't a great amount of money. Now, if you lose one of the tenants, you're losing a majority of the income. Now, if you compare it to buying 5 duplexes with $40,000 on each, the mortgage is roughly $700 per property. So you're looking at about $3,500 in mortgage payments. That would take 3.5 units to cover all of your mortgage payments and roughly another 1.5 units to cover the taxes and insurance. So you could be half vacant and still cover all your bills. Now, in the 2008 crash, at my worst, I believe I was 7 to 8 units out of 23. So that was a roughly 67% occupancy rate. So a 35% vacancy rate at the worst of the worst. So in this scenario, it's horrible, but I got through it, right? Like I've been through the good times and the bad times. So I'm giving you my experience from both. If I only had a few properties, it would have been harder for me. The other thing I did is I diversified my properties over multiple areas. So some areas got hurt where others didn't. So I realized high cap market rates, high cap markets offer better returns in the good times, but offer bad returns in the bad times. So you're taking on risk for that extra return. So I realized I liked buying properties in the nicer areas that offered lower cap rates, but more stability from the tenants and the cash flow. So, and also the property values, because the rural areas and when you're investing in like in the hood, they tank hard. They tank very hard when the properties go down. So my point is to circle back, when you have multiple rental properties, you are actually able to diversify your risk and be able to reduce your risk by having more tenants, not increase risk. So most newcomers think I have increased risk because I have more loans and more properties. That's actually the opposite. The more properties you have, if you have the right properties, you're actually reducing your risk and you're spreading your risk across. Because just think about it. If one tenant leaves, you're only losing 10% of your income. If you're losing one tenant out of a duplex that's all cash, you're losing 50% of your income. So in return, it's safer to do multiple units. And as one of your wealthy investors told you, you're younger, so you can do these things compared to an older investor has a different structure, because where you are in your life determines what you should do. So most of us here, we're under 50 years old, so should be open to take on debt. But once you're in the 65, 70, 75, you should reduce the amount of debt you have.
Absolutely. Great. I love the answer there, Basco. And then following up on that, you pretty much got to have a perfect credit.
I didn't hear you there. I'm losing audio.
Oh, sorry. I was saying you pretty much got to have a perfect credit score. Taking out that many loans on
Incorrect. Like when I tell people that you have to have an 800 credit score, when people tell me that they have an 800 credit score, I tell them no. You really don't need anything more than a 680. You don't get a crazy benefit. You really don't. So I'm not telling you to get a 680. I'm saying if you have a 720, you're good. If you're between 680 and 720, keep going. 680 to 720, keep going. What you need is a good tax return. The bank doesn't look at your credit score to approve you for the loan. They look at your cash flow and your tax return. So you have to have a solid tax return to make sure that you're not writing off deductions on your rental property incorrectly. Because I see a lot of people's tax return in my accounting firm, and I'll see how they're doing it. And I'm like, you're deducting things wrong. I had a real estate agent. She had many rental properties. And actually, she referred me many clients. So I've done a ton of refinances for her investors. And I looked at her. She's like, I can't get any more loans. And I looked at it and I was like, they wrote off $100,000 of expenses as an expense on your tax return. And she's like, okay, well, what does that mean? I said, were these $100,000 actually expenses or were they actually improvements to your property? She said, they were improvements to my property. I said, they should have added them on as an asset, then wrote off the asset as a Section 179 or did a double declining depreciation. There's multiple ways you can do it. But if you write it off as an expense, it's going to make it's going to make you look broke to the bank. But if you write it on as an asset and then you depreciate the asset, it's going to make you look rich to the bank because you have enough money and you're bringing in enough cash flow that you can actually reinvest in your property, make it worth more money. Because if you're spending $100,000 on your property as an expense, that means your property is just sucking all the money out of you and you're not making any profit. But if you add it on that you're making a lot of money and you're spending this $100,000 to improve your property, the bank's going to be like, wow, this is a great property. And he's very confident in improving his property. He's just appreciating all the work he did. We're going to be willing to give him more money. So it's over a 680 credit score and you have a good tax return, you're doing good.
That's about how you look to the banks as an investor.
And in my course, you're going to see that It's about the next one, then the next one, then the next one. And you're taking the course right now, and you'll see that that's the game. You got to keep going. And as long as you're showing the cash flow for this property is cash flowing, you're good. And that's why another thing I say, don't get 15-year mortgages, get 30-year mortgages, because the 15-year mortgage, it has a 50% higher payment. Well, if you get a 30-year mortgage, you got a 33% lower payment. So instead of paying, for example, $1,500 a month, get a 30-year mortgage, you'll be paying $1,000 a month. That opens up your debt to income ratio. That opens up your ability to get more loans. So you want to be able to do everything possible to make the bank say yes.
Awesome.
And that's why when you were mentioning certain things about paying off your debt, it's better for you to do the things you were planning to do, upgrade the property and do a refinance, and then use that to pay off your debt, because that's going to help you go faster. Paying off your debt's not going to help you go faster, especially if I'm assuming you got low interest rates on the items you got because you had good credit when you got them. So if you got a low interest rate already, your focus should be increasing the property value and refinancing as soon as possible, because this is what today's topic is about. Certain areas are going to do amazing during this downturn. Certain markets that all these people from New York and New Jersey are coming down, they're going to keep buying. And the second these prices dropping, they're going to buy them up. They're going to keep picking up all these properties. So certain markets aren't going to go down. But the more they go down, the more people are going to flood out of New York, New Jersey, Chicago, California, and they're going to flood into Arizona and Florida. They were flooding into Texas, but all that snow and ice has really turned a lot of people off. So they're going to, those markets are good. What other questions do you have?
I got one more question for you, Pascal. So you said to think in that video, just think in years of 10.
Yes.
So you even account for because although you'd say you took out multiple loans for your duplexes and you did the 30-year mortgage, do you account for how much you're actually paying the bank in reality over 30 years, or I guess a third of 30 years?
I don't.
Or are you just worried about the cash flow and maximizing your net worth?
What I learned is it's the net difference that matters. Okay, the net difference. Let's just say we got person one. Person one pays no debt ever, never pays any debt. But who's that person one? Person one's that scenario where he bought that one duplex cash. Person two got multiple loans. That person has paid $700 a month per duplex times 5, 35. In a year, it's $42,000. So someone will be like, wow, you spent a lot of money. You made the bank rich. You paid $42,000 in interest. But person two is making triple and quadruple the amount of cash flow than person one does. And person two has a significant amount of appreciation, because as you watch in that video, you make your money in appreciation. So you could say, I want to be greedy and not let the bank have any money. Or you can say, I can partner with the bank and let them make something while I make even more. Because remember, they're taking on 80% of the risk and you get 100% of the upside. And you're only putting up 20% of the risk. So yes, the bank did make $700 a month per duplex. But because of the loan, you're able to make roughly $700 a month profit per duplex in that scenario. So yes, you could have not paid them, $8,400 a year in interest, but at the same time, you made $8,400 in cash flow and paying down the debt.
Plus, deduct the full your tax returns and the interest, and then also more money now is better. That's like number one. It's economics, but so.
Yes, cash today is worth more than cash tomorrow when you account for time over money. And the other thing is this, our dollar devaluates 3% a year. So if you're buying an asset that goes up at least 3% a year, which real estate on average goes up 7% a year, and you're borrowing at 3%, so you're making the difference at 4%. But we also have to remember that the money we're borrowing loses 3% in value in a year. So yeah, I'm paying 3% in interest, but it's losing 3% in value. So that actually washes itself out. So you're borrowing the money for free.
I see what you're saying. Wow.
So you're actually borrowing it for free. And in some scenarios, when it's a home mortgage and your interest rate's 3% and the home mortgage is 2.69, you're actually being paid to borrow. That's when people are like, oh, should I pay off my loan? I'm like, no, it makes no sense at all to pay it off. What you need to do, and again, if you think about this, if you paid off a $140,000 loan, you freed up $700 a month because your interest, your taxes and insurance don't go away. You freed up the principal and interest of $700 a month. What's $700 going to do for you?
Not much.
Nothing, right? You'd rather have, I would say you're better off having $140,000 in the bank. They say, well, if the market goes down, I don't have to worry about a mortgage. I said, if the market goes down, $700 isn't going to do anything for you. You need that $140,000 in the bank to help cover things if the market goes down. Plus, when the market goes down, the bank isn't willing to give you any loans. You need to get money from the bank when times are good. And then you have the cash when times are bad because the bank's not willing to give money when times are bad. Or they're reluctant to give money when the times are bad.
Awesome. Thank you, Pascal. I think you answered all the questions I've got for ready for tonight. So.
You're welcome. Yes, great questions. Keep up the studying. You're doing great. All right. Awesome. So guys, got any questions? Throw it up in the questions section. And I'm happy to answer as to go live. How can I update and improve my tax returns? So specifically, Soto, James, I can't really say how you can because without a financial review, I can't tell you what you can improve on, right? It's kind of like saying, how can I improve on my bench or squat? Well, unless I actually see you doing it, I can give you pointers. Well, you don't have good feet positioning and you're not, your shoulders aren't clenched properly. You're not getting good range of motion of your arms. So it's really, I would have to do a review to be able to give you an accurate answer. But most of the time people, I see them that they're expensing. They're writing off value add as an expense, where they should be adding that in as an asset and depreciating it. That's one of the biggest things I see wrong. And then two, I see a lot of people flipping in a Schedule C and paying self-employment tax and earned income tax and paying 35-40% in tax when they don't have to, when they could be paying 15% in tax. They're paying an extra 25% in tax, which is like mind-blowing to me. And I had actually this conversation today earlier this week. I had a consultation meeting with these realtors and they were telling me what they were going to do. And they were going to do Schedule C on their flips. And I said, no, you don't want to do that. You want to put it in 1120S because that way you can pay some of the profits to yourself as employees, but then leave a chunk of the money as profit as business owners and avoid earned income credit. It's very just surprising to me that the other accountants don't mention that. But in the other accountants' defense, they are not specialized in real estate. You need a real estate specialist to be able to help you with your accounting and your taxes for real estate. So we specialize in real estate investors and high net worth individuals, people that make a lot of money through their job and that want to be able to reduce the amount of taxes they're paying by investing in real estate to reduce the amount of taxes they're paying through their job. And that's what we do. I got a couple of questions regarding AUDs, so let me answer that. So AUDs is an additional dwelling unit. That's in California, a new law that came out. And there's JAUDs as well, which is junior additional dwelling units. So now homeowners can add, without actually calling it a duplex, they can add an additional dwelling unit, which basically functions like a duplex. So let's see what Juicy says. Is it better to buy a property this year or build an AUD and then do a cash out refinance or a line of credit after I build my AUD to buy a property after? So the question really comes to the numbers. We would have to do a financial review to say, one, how much is your AUD going to cost you? Is it going to cost you $50,000, $100,000? And then what is the amount of rent it's going to bring you? And that will give you a return on investment. Then you would see let's just say $100,000 is what it costs. The rent it's going to bring in is $1,000 a month. Well, you should net out around 9%. So there's a 9% return cash on cash. That's pretty good. Then you would also add in, well, this $100,000 is going to increase the property value how much? 150, 200,000? Well, if it's increasing the property 200,000 and you spent 100, you're doubling your money. So I would do an AUD, I would actually pay for an AUD, rent it, then do a cash out refinance. But you need to check the numbers to see if it's worth it. In my example, that would be worth it. For some reason, I can't see any of the questions in the questions section. So if someone could please send questions in the questions section so I'd be able to answer it for you guys. Hey, what's up everyone on YouTube? Thanks for following. And also thanks for liking and subscribing to my channel. Lots of good content out there. So if you want to look into learn, you'll learn a lot on our YouTube channel. What do you think of the BRRRR strategy? Buy, rehab, refi, repeat. Actually, you're missing stuff there. Okay, so the BRRRR strategy is buy, remodel, rent, refinance, repeat. So I do that often, to be honest with you. I use that strategy often. It works great. All right. Got another person that's going to go live. What's up, Moses? Very in-depth question here. Can you share target cap rate? I'll get to that question. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good, buddy. How you doing? Where are you located right now? Looks like Miami.
I'm in Miami. I'm in beautiful Miami. Look at this.
Yeah, it looks like it. I love Miami.
Yeah, where are you at?
I'm in Tampa.
Oh, I just moved from Tampa. I was living in town, so I went to town. So I'm actually from Tampa.
Oh, nice. Channel said, yeah, I'm actually looking to do some deals in the area.
Okay, are you doing wholesaling? What are you doing?
Mostly I BRRRR. Mostly I BRRRR properties. Yeah, but I do that to apartment complexes. So I do it to like 8 units, 16 units, stuff like that.
Okay, perfect. Nice. I like that. Are you doing like push appreciation?
Yes, yes.
And then keeping it? Are you refinancing to yourself?
The commercial deals, no. I do 1 to 4 family refinances is what we do. So we do 1 to 4 for clients, and then we refer out anything larger than that.
Anything larger than
4 units.
Okay, perfect. Well, you have any deal, anything, usually looking for anything over 75 units, send them my way. Anything that needs light rehab, send them my way. Dude, easy.
Right now I'm working on a commercial property. It's $7.5 million. It's 31,000 square feet, 11,000 square feet of retail, and 20,000 square feet of private school where they do school, food, and living all at one location.
Gotcha. How much was it grossing?
Right now per month they're grossing roughly, I think, off of the top of my head, I believe it's like almost 60,000 is what they're grossing.
16? Okay, 16,000. So we're looking at $107 million.
7.5 million. It's 7.5 cap.
Yeah, 7.5 cap. Okay, does it need can you do push appreciation?
There's some push appreciation, but most of the tenants have built-in 3% increases.
Oh, okay. So you're pretty much buying on hold and then exiting in like 3 to 7 years.
We're looking, honestly, I don't plan to exit from this property because this is in a downtown core market and it's getting better and better every year. And I know over the next 15 years, it's going to be worth significantly more. Like most of the big projects in the same area are 10, 20, $25 million. So this is like one of the last properties that is available to buy.
Nice. You have it under contract?
Yeah, it's under contract right now.
Nice, man. Good for you, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
For sure. So I'll tell you a little bit about me. I come from the real estate world. Okay, I've done wholesaling, buy and hold, fix and flip, the whole 9 yards. Now in the tech industry, I actually got mentored by Dan Pena. I don't know if you're familiar with Dan Pena.
Yeah, I know Dan Pena.
Yeah, so I got on his mentorship, and then it changed my whole thinking and my whole way of looking at things.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of stopped doing real estate. Now I'm getting more into the tech side, which is, I created a program where I teach individuals how they can actually wholesale properties to themselves, okay, with none of their own money. I also teach them how they can obtain funding at 0% interest, and pretty much just for them to get a head start, whether it is if they're going to go into real estate or they want fund for their own business, so I'm doing that, and then I'm doing merchant acquisitions. So it's pretty much, you know how you do a rehab, like you buy it for 100K, put 20, sell it for 200 or whatever. It's the same thing, but with businesses.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a total different. Obviously there's more risk, but you're not using your money, so you can take, you take calculated risk for sure. Yeah. It's beautiful. I know kids that are worth $250 million, and they're like 23, 24-year-old using this formula.
Nice.
Yeah. So if you ever want to go see them, thank you first of all for putting me on your life. Okay. And if you need a good lender, somebody that can close deals, somebody that can let you borrow up to $500 million, let me know. I'll get you in contact. I work directly with a hedge fund.
All right, nice. What terms do you guys offer?
It all depends. Anywhere between, depending on your credit, anywhere on your experience, anywhere between 6 and 12% with 3 points at closing, no prepayment penalties. Usually 12, 18 months with a 6-month extension. So
you're talking about like hard money and bridge debt?
Correct. Pretty much hard money or bridge. We're financing. You see that building right there? So anything, if you have the land, if you own the land, we can finance 100% of the building. Okay? And it can be office spaces, it can be multifamily, doesn't matter. So if you own the lot, or even if you don't own the lot, but if you know somebody, like, we need the person to be at least 50% owner of the lot. But we can finance up to $500 million for the build-up cost. Now we can add up that interest back up to the loan because we already know the numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like if you buy, let's say, a lot here in Miami for $10 million, and we're building something like this, and the numbers indicate that hey, it's gonna be $175 million. Okay, and only need $50 million. Only need $50 million for the construction. So all in, we're looking at 60 mil. Adding up interest rate at 10%, $6 million in 6 months. So we're looking at the upside is pretty high. So we just look to make sure it doesn't have the 75%
mark. Yeah. Like, because the interest rates you were mentioning were high and the points were high, but that only works on very profitable properties. Yeah, very profitable projects. Otherwise, you're paying 9% a year. That's a large amount of money, unless unless you're looking at a very profitable deal.
Correct. Good deal for sure. You don't want to, and it's only interest only. I'm sure that's what you're getting also right now with hard money, interest only.
Most of the time, I don't actually do hard money. Most of the deals I get are from the bank. The bank will give me a 4.25% interest rate. I'll come up with 25% of the purchase and the rental budget. They'll come up with 75% of the purchase and rental budget. I get it amortized over 25 years. So I'm getting better deals and hard money deals on my projects, and they're. But again, it works for me because I have a connection with these banks, have a relationship with the banks. So these are small, mid-sized banks. And then I have the next thing I go to which is like if I have to go to the hard money, but I normally don't go to that until I don't normally go to hard money, to be honest with you. It's been a very long time since I've done that. The only time I do that is when I'm literally flipping a small house. If I'm flipping a house and it's, I'm looking at like $500,000-$600,000 for purchase and rehab, I go to my hard money lender and I normally get 1.5 point plus 8% annualized. So
okay, and how much are you putting down on those?
10 to 20% of purchase and rehab.
Okay, yeah, usually that's what we do for anything less than 500,000, 10%.
Yeah, so
we can finance, we'll finance 90% of the deal and 100% of the rehab.
Yeah, so I'm getting very similar terms just because obviously when you have a long track record, you get money pretty cheap.
For sure. Right now, there's banks. I mean, if you have done more than 5 deals in the past year, right now you can get 100% financing, okay, and 100% of the rehab. So you're just carrying out your name, pretty much.
Yeah.
I haven't done a deal since March of last year, but the way to get around it is, if you got like your followers, if they partner with you, you just review the deal and you tell them what to do. Obviously you do need to be at least 20%, 20% of the deal. But this bank actually financing 100% of the purchase and 100% of the rehab.
Yeah, so some of my followers do add me on as a consultant on their deal. I review the numbers and then they add me onto the deal to just make sure everything goes good, and I get an equity cut for my portion of the deal. But they put up the money and they find a property, but I just advise on it, and then I get as being a advisor for the deal.
Perfect. I got a question. Have you ever wholesale properties to yourself?
No, I have not done that, but I haven't really needed to do that. I've never been in a scenario where I'm buying a property and I don't have money.
No. I mean, you don't need, in order to wholesale to yourself, you don't need money.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I've always had money, so I've always done that just because the rates and terms are usually better when I put up some of my own money.
Okay. No, what I'm saying is, for example, if you find a property 60 cents on the dollar, okay, you can pretty much without you coming up with, let's say for the 100K, okay, well you have it for $60,000. Instead of you coming up with a 10%, which is $6,000, you can actually get it with none of your own money. You just, because banks are financing worst case scenario 75%, right? So on this scenario, if the property is worth 100K and you have it on the contract for 60,000, okay, well, the property worth 100K, and the banks are financing 75%. So why are people putting money out of their own pocket? Why are the banks financing up to $75,000 if you have the property for 60,000? So there's a way, which I teach my students. There's a way where obviously you gotta first have the right company, okay, and you leverage 2 companies. You put company number 1 on the contract with that property, and you sell it to company number 2. Okay, and then you just leverage, hey, you're selling it for 100,000, so they're gonna finance 75,000. Okay, and you actually end up with the property and with money on the go.
I hear what you're saying, and the reason I don't do that is because I don't want to have the taxable gain associated to doing that. Again, like I said, I understand how it works because I have an accounting firm, I have an insurance agency, I have a mortgage company, I have a construction company, and I have insurance agency. So everything is done in-house. So I understand the concept of what you're saying, but what happens is when you flip that property, you're going to have the taxable gain on the amount that you sold it. What you're saying is you buy the property for 65, you sell it, you flip it really quickly to another company you own at 75 or $100,000, and then you can write off the difference to yourself. But then again, you have to pay the taxable gain on that difference. So if I don't have to do that, I don't want to have to a taxable consequence for making that type of decision. But it is a nice concept if you want to kind of take that kind of risk.
There's not really risk involved. There's not. I came here to put out the phone to charge at one time. There's no risk involved because you're not using your money. Okay, that's one. You're not using your money. You're using the bank's money. Okay, and also, when you talk about the taxes, and this is something I haven't done the whole taxes thing because obviously that's for buy and hold. okay? But I have partnered up with a firm in Puerto Rico, okay, that from what they explained to me, and this is something that I'm offering, for my students. From what they explained to me is, since I get Puerto Rico, you pay 4% tax. Okay, so you pretty much make a parent company. It can be a construction company, it can be a tech company, whatever it is, but you have a parent company in Puerto Rico that manages companies here in the States.
Mm-hmm.
So you pretty much filter out your money over there.
Yeah, I understand what you're. I know you haven't. I know you haven't done it before, but I understand what it is because again, I understand the concept. As a Puerto Rican company, you're subject to a reduced amount of tax, and you just have the parent company through Puerto Rico. But you have to claim yourself as a Puerto Rican resident, and you have to have a residence in Puerto Rico or claim you have a residence in Puerto Rico to make that work. So yes, one of the guys that I follow, his company is based out of Puerto Rico, and he advises people to move to Puerto Rico. So I definitely get the concept. Yes, that is possible. You have to get to a certain level to be able to get to have that done. If you have a $80,000 property, it is not worth all the hoops for the amount of tax, the amount of cost it's going to be for if I was going to do the accounting for all of that. The amount of accounting you're going to have to pay for $80,000 is not worth it. Now, if you're starting talking about you're doing $1 million deals, multi-million-dollar deals, then that makes sense because the amount of money you're going to save on taxes and things like that, then it will make sense to do those type of deals. One, you have to have an extreme amount of equity available to do it. Two, it has to be a lot of profit to be able to be generated, to be able to cover all of the costs for the accountants and the tax preparation and everything else, because we're talking about doing taxes for 2 to 3 entities and everything else. So we're talking about, thousands of dollars a year per entity to be able to keep it up. And then on top of that, you have to have a ownership of property in Puerto Rico and claim it to be your primary residence. All of those things are required to be able to accomplish what you're saying. What you're saying can be done, but I'm just saying there's a lot of work that needs to make that happen. And if you don't need to do it, if you have the cash, you can avoid all of that, because if you're doing the proper depreciation, if you're doing cost segregation models, you're not even paying any income on any taxes on any of your income, because if you just do everything else properly. So if I can avoid jumping through all those hoops, spending all that money and possibly having to pay a tax because I made a mistake somewhere along the way, I'll just avoid it and just pay the $100,000 or whatever it is for the few months I need it while I'm doing a flip, and then I'll get it right back. That's my logic. Now, again, conceptually, that works. That works conceptually, but
is that how you do it?
No, because I don't have to do it. Like, I don't have to go through 6 steps to do.
No. I'm talking about you buying cash, so you just don't really pay taxes, and then.
No. I'll put down on a flip. I'll put down 10 to 20% to avoid all those circles and paying all those accounts. Because again, every entity you have is going to cost you a few $1,000s a year in taxes. Ignoring it's a Puerto Rican entity and ignoring the fact that you have to have a home in Puerto Rico to really do that. So to avoid that, I'm just going to put down I'll put down 10 to 20%, do the deal, be done with the deal, and then not have all that extra headache and paperwork involved, because I don't really need that extra money. Normally, if you got a great deal, someone's going to give you the money. Some partner out there. And I told someone, hey, guys, find a deal in my area. I will front the money on those deals. Find something in my area. Now, I do not want to come to New Jersey. No, I don't want to go to New York. I already said I don't want to go to LA. So don't give me these deals. Huh? Because they're not business friendly. I only deal with states that are business friendly, or areas where they're business friendly, because I want them to be on my side. Huh?
No California either.
No, unless I'm going to make stupid money. Like, if I make dummy money, then I'll go, because I'll have enough money to pay for the BS. But if I'm not making enough money, like, I'm looking to open a California branch for my mortgage company. So if we make enough money, yeah, we'll do it. I'm down. Like, we're already, like, I'm not even trying, and that side of the business is growing aggressively. So if that works, then sure. What?
You do mortgages also?
Yes, we do mortgage. We have a mortgage company. We have an accounting firm. We have an insurance agency. property management company, and construction.
Nice. Okay, I got a question for the mortgage. So I'm private military. Okay, so I have VA loans. Now I know that there's no more cap. You know, like I think like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, it used to be like a 416.
Yes.
Now there's no cap. What does that mean?
That means
if I qualify, I can get.
That means you can buy. There is no price limit on what you buy. You can buy. There's no limit on what you buy. Where the limit comes to is, can you afford the monthly payments? So let's just say, for example, before your limit, I think it was like $416,000, depending on what state you're in, because other states had higher limits. Now, say you bought $1 million property in California. You found $1 million fourplex in California, and you bought that. You can use the rental income from the other 3 units to add to your income to substantiate to qualify for the loan. So you could buy $1 million property with no money out of pocket. Now, you'd say, Pascal, why wouldn't everybody do it? Because the reason why everyone should not do that is the fees to do a VA loan are very high. So if you could afford to put down 5%, 10%, the amount of money you save in fees is a crazy amount. I'll give you a simple example. I have a doctor trying to buy a $800,000 property. And the 20% on that property brings them to around 610, somewhere around 620. No, 640. I told him, well, I understand 20% down on this property would be $640,000. But let's avoid you going into a jumbo loan. Let's get it down to 530, around 528. If we get it to 528, we would avoid a jumbo loan. And that's going to save you 3.5 points. 3.5 points on 640. We're talking about $22,000. It would save them $22,000 in fees, additional fees. So, okay, if you have another 100 grand, put up another 100 grand and save 22% on the fees. And he said, yeah, for sure. I have another $100,000. I'll save 22% in fees. No, I don't like Grant Cardone. I don't like his offerings. So the point is, I am all for aggressive growth. But I'm not for it when it comes to the point of me sacrificing so much in fees. Because unless, in that scenario, could he put his 100,000 anywhere else to make more than 22%? The answer is no. So put down the money, save $22,000 in fees, then get a home equity line of credit and pull the money back. Boom. You saved yourself $22,000 and you got your money back. But again, a lot of it is patience and structure.
I got a question. So you're absolutely right. You're patient and structure. You couldn't say that.
Just so you know, I started in this business when I was 14. I started studying when I was 14. I bought my first property at 19. I worked for a bank for a while. I worked for an accounting firm for a while. I worked with one of the best credit cleaners in the country. She was my neighbor. I got many mentors underneath me to learn each specific strategy to be able to maximize each result. So when I make a move, my goal is to use the least amount of energy possible to accomplish my goal. So I don't want to go in a circle to do something what I could do in a straight line. If I can do a straight line, reduce fees, reduce time, reduce headache, sometimes the answer I'll tell someone is don't do anything. But I want to do more deals, Pascal. Don't do anything. Be patient because you want to create an opportunity to strike. It's like a boxer. Sometimes the boxer's not striking. He's waiting for someone to slip up so he can come in and attack.
Correct, you're right. So, for example, on my position, I can go ahead and get, let's say I make, right now like about 80 a month. So let's say I want to get a $4 million house, okay? Can I do it without having to put in $400,000 or $800,000 down?
Yeah, with jumbo loans, you're gonna have to put a lot of money down. When you're looking at a jumbo loan, they're gonna want you to put 30-40% down.
Even if it's through the VA. So what does it mean?
So through the VA, that's different. Through the VA, you can hypothetically get a $4 million loan. Yes.
Without putting any money down, as long as I qualify.
Yeah, hypothetically, yes. I've not seen a VA loan ever go that high.
What are the highest you've seen?
Like 1.1, 1.2.
Without putting any money down?
Basically, no money down.
Okay.
But again, it's hard. What you're saying is rare because you're going to go through different levels of scrutiny trying to get approval for that.
Got it.
Like again, just think anytime your credit gets worse, you get through more scrutiny. Anytime that you're asking for more money than normal, you're going through more scrutiny. Anytime you're saying I make $80K a month, they're going to audit you for the last 2 years. And they're going to say, have you been making $80K every single month for the last 2 years? And we're not talking about $80K gross. Because if you ask me, Pascal, how much do you gross? Well, I do $1 million a month. It doesn't matter, right? Like $1 million a month doesn't mean, what do you net? They're going to want to see your net money be consistent over the last 2 years. And if in 2020, your business has dropped more than 25% of revenue, none of the money you made, doesn't matter how profitable it is, none of the money counts. You cannot get a refi, you can't get a loan, period. So there's certain rules, everyone knows the general rules. But when you go to the nitty gritty detailed rules, the very minute granular rules, you can get tripped up very easily. And that's where you come in and you get an expert to kind of like knows the game, that does these things every single day. Because what I do is obviously I'm running 5 companies. I don't do everything on the day-to-day. But what I do see is when my people have a problem, they come to me. So all I see is not the easy stuff. I see the problems. I got this problem. How do I fix it? I got that problem. How do I fix it? This is a unique scenario. Mother and daughter. The mother co-signed the daughter. The daughter doesn't work anymore. Doesn't have any money. How do we do it? Well, does a mom own both properties? Technically, yes. Is a property far away in a nice area? Yes. So it's a second home. And the daughter's living in the second home. So like there's ways to figure out, resolve problems for these people if it's possible. Right? If it's legally possible, we're going to figure out a solution for that.
Nice. I love it. I love all your content and all your knowledge. You know, I talked to a bank, maybe federal, and they said that I still had to put in 20% down. I was like, how is that possible when I know because I got a letter saying, hey, there's no more cap. Like it went from 416 to 450, now there's no cap. So I called the bank to see, hey, I heard there's no cap. Yada yada yada. They told me the same thing on the jumbo loan. And they said that they still require me to put in 20%, not 25%. They're like, oh, we're not required 20%. And I'm like, well, the meeting said there's no cap. They're like, oh no, we're still required to put some money down, 20% down. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll hold on.
So every company has their own overlays. So when you're doing overlays, you have to just check what each company is doing and what each one's offering. So just because it's possible doesn't mean that company offers that offering. So you have to find someone that's still offering what's available. So like Quicken Loans.
Okay.
Quicken Loans does do business owner purchases and refinance. But it is very, very tedious. And they made the hurdles to get this purchase and refinance very high. At one point, they weren't doing any purchases and refinances for any business owner under a 780 credit score.
Oh, wow.
So just because it's possible means you have to find the person that's doing it.
Correct. It's like when you get a loan from a bank, like when I teach my students, like, hey, can you get business credit? Yes, you can. But Chase is not going to give it to you. Bank of America is not going to give it to you. You say you have to find out which banks are giving it to you so you can maximize your credit and then you can cash out. Okay, so now I see what you're saying. That makes perfect sense.
Yes. But anyway, I'm going to let you go. because the live event's about to end.
Thank you
And
very much.
you're very welcome. You have a great night.
I appreciate it. Thank you. You do as well.
Thank you. All right, guys. God bless you guys. And to wrap up this live event, I'm going to tell you that where you invest in is important, because when the market tanks, certain markets are not going to get hurt as bad as others. As you heard, this is John Williams is coming to Tampa. He's looking to invest in Tampa because this is one of the markets. This is one of the markets that's going to do strong. So God bless you guys. I hope you have a blessed night. And if you guys want to know more about my course, DM me. If you guys want to know about the $7.5 million project we're going to do, you want more information, DM me. We're happy to help any way we can. We have an accounting firm, insurance agency, mortgage company. So we do taxes, bookkeeping, and payroll for companies and individuals. And we do purchases and refinances. So DM us. We're happy to help you guys. And again, God bless and good night.